Sup, Reitanna, it's Reitanna Seishin here. Here's another dream journal. This one is from January 29th, 2020. Obviously, when I post it, I post it after I had the dream. So the dream happened on January 28th, which is what I'll, obviously put in the title of this journal. So this one seems to be a cool dream. So I had a dream night before last. Oh. So this actually happened on the 27th. And it was actually a really cool dream that tried to be a nightmare a couple times, but it just kept being good. I don't have good dreams often, so this was delightful. Mike and I had recently moved to Smilesville, whereas we'd usually just visit Encephalon through odd portals throughout the world. I'll mention those in another post. We have our house, and now we're trying to find jobs. My conscious mind knows that there are things in Smilesville that I haven't exactly fully formed yet, so it always seems unfinished. I also don't want to work in food, so I take a day to walk around and find work. I come across this Chinese restaurant called something like Mean Boy or something, and the sign is black, the letters are red, and in a sort of font you'd expect from a heavy metal band. I went inside out of curiosity, and it's a heavy metal themed Chinese restaurant. From the look of it, it's really popular. It has 2 floors, and the waitress told me there's a very long wait. I told her I was just looking around. I made a mental note to make a reservation there with Michael at some point. As a little side note, remember how I said the dream was trying to be a nightmare? Well, there were Middle Eastern terrorists in Smilesville for some reason. They looked so abnormal compared to the colorful citizens and backgrounds, and the fact that they had weapons made everyone start pulling out their phones to call the police. They tried to get into certain areas of Smilesville by saying that Emperor something or another has ordered us to let him in. I love you, cat. None of us were afraid, even me, because we have strict laws in Smilesville. I said, "Nice try, morons. There is no emperor something or another in Encephalon. Either go back to Earth or get your asses into Wayward City, because we're calling the police, and things don't work the same here as they do on Earth." They were all confused as we all managed to get them to turn around and head into Wayward City. Now, it was the city's problem, and it was unlikely that they'd live long enough to see Earth again. Moving on. I came across an arcade after that, and it looked really fun, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to work there. I kept it at the back of my mind in case I didn't find anything else. I knew that Smilesville's economy is way better than the US, so I actually had many options to pursue. Even though we get YouTube in Smilesville, I didn't think I was going to make nearly enough money to be happy because, well, it's Earth. While exploring, I found myself in front of a huge arena with the Jeopardy logo on it. I was like, Jeopardy? So I walked in and discovered that Smilesville Jeopardy was extremely popular and extremely different than Earth's. The arena itself looked set up like a music concert. It was dark with vibrant purple and magenta lights. Kind of looked like this. And I'll actually post this picture as the main picture in this post. There were hundreds of thousands of seats with cheering fans and hundreds of screens for people to see what's going on stage. There was music, a full snack station, and each player had a flashy introduction video. It was so crazy. Not only that, but the players were attached to pulleys that would lift them into the air and bring them to the stage from the area they sit while being introduced. Even though I have social anxiety, it's always easier to be social in Smilesville because if I embarrass myself, it's just considered being wacky and everyone loves it. I noticed some important looking guys talking about how one contestant couldn't make it because she got sick, and were worrying about filling in for her. I asked if maybe I could play. Since I, Kara Reynolds, am the one who invented Encephalon, my character, Reitanna Seishin, is a face that many people recognize. I'm what is referred to as the bloodline, so Reitanna is considered to be a direct descendant of the bloodline. She didn't know this until she arrived on Encephalon much earlier in her life than in my dream world, apparently. Anyway, they recognized me and plopped me right into the contestant seat. I think Earth Jeopardy has 4 players, but Smilesville has 3. There was an Asian man in his mid-20s and a black girl with really cute, thick-framed round glasses in her young 20s. Her hair was in braids like this, and I show a hair picture. Same length and style, but the color was that dark brown. That's the darkest brown you can have before black. And she had some plastic children's clips in it. I'm having a bad reading day. She wore denim overalls with a yellow t-shirt and red Converse. I remember her way more than the Asian man because she and I became quick friends, but I can't remember her name. I do remember the Asian man having black hair and wearing a black leather jacket. Apparently the black girl, let's call her Simone, was well known on the internet. Let's call the Asian guy Che. There were some music performances on stage before the main show while the contestants got ready. The other 2 had been on before, so I was the nervous one. There was this girl with long, straight blonde hair who had backstage passes or something, and she looked like she was from Clearwater Park. It didn't seem like she was too fond of Simone because she was extremely peppy and insistent that everyone she met was now her friend, which is typical Smiles Hill behavior. Smilesville. I said Smiles Hill. I'll call the blonde girl Megan. Simone, Che, and Megan all recognized me, and Megan told me she had also come from Earth, but as a teenager, so she's been on Encephalon longer than me. She confided in me that she didn't like coming to Smilesville because it doesn't have the same air as Clearwater Park, which eliminates all negative feelings. She found out the hard way that Smilesvillians often got on her nerves, and she said that Simone was way too much for her. I said, I like her. I can't find people like her on Earth. Don't you remember how horribly everyone... This is why I probably should proofread. Don't you remember how horrible everyone is there? This made her go silent, and from then on she was much warmer to Simone, seeming not to get annoyed so easily. Then it was time. The Smilesville National Anthem played, and then the much different Smilesville Jeopardy theme played. The host was a very loud, excited, and flamboyant man wearing a yellow suit like Freddie Mercury's. Well, his jacket is yellow, but if I remember correctly, the guy's pants were yellow too, so... Yeah, except the pants matched. God, I need to just read on. And the whole thing was glittery. He announced the start of the show, and our vignettes started to play. First was Che's, and it was in his native language with subtitles. There was a cool anime clip of him looking really hot, typical anime stuff. And there was a wind swirling with cherry blossoms that flew into a transition that took his character off the screen and revealed his name. Then the camera showed his face live so he could greet the audience. Note that everyone is screaming and cheering during this whole thing like at a concert. Then it was Simone's turn. I don't remember her internet name, but it was something kawaii, and it seemed her internet persona was also very kawaii. It showed some animated clips of her, possibly based on actual clips from her internet videos, and when her live face showed up, she said something in Japanese in a sickly kawaii voice that just made you think of some little anime Lolita girl covered in pastel bows and frills. She even gave little peace signs. When it came to me, the tech team managed to put together a short vignette made from some of my art and my song Lovely. I was shocked that I received just as many cheers as the other 2 had. But then I was scared out of my mind. The camera was going to show my face. What do I do? What if I'm awkward? Earth's conditioning was making me forget that I could literally do anything and be okay. When the camera showed my live face, I did something that embarrassed me. I think I smiled like an idiot, waved both my hands, and said, "Yatta!" Typical behavior of mine on video. Not so much in person in front of 100,000 strangers, but they loved it. My heart was beating like mad, and I felt so relieved. I know, kitty cat. I know I'm talking. Man, she's so pathetic. We were lifted and put at our podiums. Then the power went out. It took a few minutes for it to get back on, but we tried to resume anyway. The categories were put up, and I wish I could remember what they were because they were so Smilesville. The second time the power went off, I shouted, "I can help!" and used my extraordinary girl powers to send volts of electricity through the wires, and the power came on much quicker. Simone was like, "How did you do that?" And I said, "Well, I'm also Extraordinary Girl." Now, this only applies to my dream self. Extraordinary Girl is a concept I created based on the fact that I have many powers in my dreams that work only sometimes. Please refer to this for more information, and I link a thing. So we started answering questions. The only one I remember being answered was Che saying, "Who is Aku Aku?" I could have gotten that one, but he was a quick buzzer. The third time the power went out, it was different. Here's the second time my dream tried to be a nightmare. I love you. I love you. I love you to death, and I will always love you. But you need to let me work. Go to sleep. I know I'm talking, but go to sleep. I love you. Okay. Try to be a nightmare. The power didn't seem to be all the way out, but the screens were frozen and glitchy. The scariest part was that every single person was staring at me, but their faces were glitchy and staticky. Yep. They were all frozen, and I heard a low droning sound somewhere in the silence. I wasn't sure what to do or say, especially since my new friend, Simone, was right next to me with the same glitched up face. I ended up saying, "Monica?" More silence, and I said, "Just Monica?" "I love you, baby." More silence. I shot some electricity through the wires again, and everything went back to normal. I decided to just pretend nothing happened because I didn't want to let my projections know that I noticed them trying to turn my awesome dream into a nightmare. There was a break where Megan brought us three contestants some cake. "I love you, baby girl, you're so cute." But then things started getting cloudy, and I said, "No, I'm waking up! I can't play anymore!" My new friends waved goodbye enthusiastically and said, "We'll be here when you come back. Next time you'll win some money." I think I'm going to at least make Megan and Simone actually characters because they were so nice. I might keep Che as an honorable mention or something, but yeah, it was a wonderful dream. I told Mike about it. Wow, I didn't capitalize his name. And he said last night, "Hey, maybe we can keep a streak." I said, "Probably not." I was right. My next blog will be about the punishment nightmare my mind conjured up to make up for having such a good dream. Womp. Wah. So that was that. And I remember a lot of parts of it quite vividly, especially the arena that we were in. It was just so amazing and colorful. And I feel like, and I'm going to implement this into the origin story of Reitanna going to Smilesville, but I feel like if I ended up in Smilesville for the first time ever, I would drop to my knees and start crying because I'd be free. And God, I just wish, God damn it, I wish that it existed. I wish I could go there and just be happy. Anyway, so yeah, that was my dream journal for Smilesville Jeopardy. If you like this video, leave a like, spread the word of awesome, become a Reitanite, and subscribe and such. I need to get back into my groove here. And don't forget to click the little bell. And I shall see you later, alligators and crocodiles. Goodbye.